Scrappy Peeps, Suzanna here today, and I'm sharing with you this layout, which is based on another Allison Davis's sketch. It is week 2, and so this is the sketch. There are 6 pictures. In the sketch, there are 3, 4, 5, 6 3 by 3 photos, so squares. I have various shapes, and my intent here is that instead of using the 3 by 3s that are down that center panel there, that I'm going to use 2 4 by 3s, and then I'll use the 3 by 3s on that right hand column. So I am also guest designing today using some Whimsy Stamps dies. Whimsy Stamps is doing some they're releasing lines that are great for scrapbookers as well, and so I want to showcase to you how you can use these, what would other be known as like card dies, because they're for Slimline, how you can incorporate Slimline dies into your scrapbook layouts. So I have, this is the Slimline 5 frames die. So when you cut this out, you're going to be left with a outline, a stitched outline, and then 5 smaller frames. Well, it's actually an outline with 5 openings, and then 5 smaller frames are nestled within that. So I should have put my longer platform on. Actually, I could have fit this through if I had lined it up properly, but I didn't, and so I'm going to run it through just the top part of it again because it didn't cut the top, which would not have been a big deal if it weren't that I wanted to have that stitched embossing in the top of the frame there. You can't really see it because I'm using pattern paper, but I know it's there and I wanted it. So the other die that I'm using I have used previously, and this is the pocket. So also it's called a Slimline Scallop Edge Pocket Die. My intent had been, when I originally shared my first layout for Whimsy Stamps, was I wanted to show you how to use this to hold memorabilia that you've collected along the way. However, I really liked it on this layout, and so and I didn't really want to work on that. I am working on other things. So as one of 3 parts of this pocket die, you also have these butterflies, and so I'm cutting the pocket out of vellum as well as these butterflies out of vellum, pink vellum, to work with this collection. So this is the Garden Party collection from Maggie Holmes, her latest release, and again, this is a sketch-inspired layout using some Whimsy die and the Maggie Holmes. So I am going to fold the edges of the pocket, and I know I want this to be overlapping on that main center part of the layout. So in the sketch, and this class is for 6 by 6 paper pads, so the idea is to use 6 by 6 paper pads. I don't have any paper pads for this collection, really wanted to use this collection, so I made it work without 6 by 6 paper pads, and I'm not bothered by that at all. And so my idea was, so in the sketch there are 2 6 by 6 pieces of pattern paper, one on the top and one on the bottom, that create that long column on the left hand side. I just went with this 12 by 6 because that's what I have and that's what I wanted, and I like the unity of that. Then Allison just has 3 photos and then all of these cluster star embellishments. So instead, I interpreted the sketch my way. I'm going to use this Whimsy die frame, the I can never say this word, Slimline frame die, and that is going to be where I'm going to house my pictures, and my intent is to use 2 4 by 3 pictures. One of those pictures I want to be on the pocket from Whimsy Stamps. So I decide I want to frame this, or actually use it as a frame, and I'm going to have that black and white pattern as my background behind it. I like the way that it really grounds the layout, and again, you don't see much of it because I am going to cover a lot of it, but you see enough of it that it's kind of like a window that is behind Luna. So these pictures. So this crazy cat likes to hang out in my scrapbook room, and she likes to eat things. Her latest picnic was on these little fairy lights that I have strung across the top of one of the shelves in my scrapbook nook. That's actually where my trimmer is. So there's a large open space because I need to be able to get paper in there. That used to be where I kept my trimmer before I moved it here to the right side of my workspace when I started filming. So she is eating the lights, the little fairy lights there. And so this is just a bunch of pictures of her doing exactly that. So ahead of time, before I started filming, I fussy cut from one of the pieces of pattern paper a bunch of those pink flowers there. And so I'm going to use those instead of the stars that are called for in the sketch. So also in the sketch, going down the right-hand side between the second and then the third and final photo is a journal spot. And so I'm trying to figure out what that journal spot is going to be. I have committed to all of this, so I'm going to go ahead and stick down the things that I have committed to, and then I can work around that and keep building the layers that I have in my layout. So this 6 by 6 background or 6 by 12 background is 1.5 inches from the left edge, and I'm not sure whether I'm going to repeat that on the right hand side, which is why I don't actually use the whole piece. I also have a very limited amount of that yellow from the collection, and so want to be able to save that as well. I also really like that B side of it. Well, we'll call the yellow the B side. I really like that pattern that is on the right hand side of the screen there. And I actually thought I would cut out some of those circles and use those sort of their quilted circles I'm going to go with and incorporate into the design there. So I am laying down my photos. So this is a 6 photo sketch. You only see 5, but I am actually going to go with the 6th photo. And I'm going to do that off camera, and I'll tell you about that a little bit more as we get to the edge. So these are the fussy cut flowers. Allison has 3 clusters of stars. I have there 3 clusters of flowers. However, you will see that I'm going to add a 4th cluster, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a little bit. I keep pulling out that paper because where the journaling spot is going to go, I really want to use that instead of journaling, knowing that I have that tag that I have put in that pocket. So at this point, I'm divided as to whether that tag is going to house journaling or whether it is going to just be there as a decorative element. So I am incorporating those vellum butterflies into the layout. They are sitting on the very subtle outline of circles there, and that is, there should be a third one. Maybe I haven't put it on yet, but there will be a third one, and that becomes one of the visual triangles on my page to guide your eye around the page. And then these flowers in clusters of 3 also are intended to be visual triangles to guide your eye around the page as well. However, I upset the apple cart with that design principle by putting a 4th cluster. And it's not really a cluster, but a 4th flower bundle. It's not even a bundle. Just a 4th flower. And so you'll see that coming up in a second. And how I actually lay it down. So you can see all 3 of these flowers. You can actually see the whole flower, and they're on top of the photos or whatever else that it is that I have there. So I am going to put a 4th flower in, but it's going to be tucked behind the frame, that green frame there, and I will actually end up pulling it off. So I'm debating here, what do I want the frame to be for my journaling? I had that black that I thought was really cool, but there's also a lot of black already, and I wanted to have some pink to match that pink pocket that I've got there from Whimsy Stamps. So I went with the pink. And it's literally just to be a frame. And it's always interesting to me the illusion that your eye plays on you. So that 3 by 3 pink plaid frame is exactly the same size as the photos, but look, when you put it in reverse and you've got the white in the inside instead of the white outside the photo, see how different it looks? It's kind of funny, isn't it? So there's the flower on top. Why I didn't just leave it there and I stuck it behind, I don't know, but it looks really odd given that it's the only thing that is tucked behind. It's not terrible. I could have left it that way, but I do end up pulling that in front. Then the other thing that I do differently is I do add another one of the wallet size photos. So the picture on the top in that left hand column that's more 4x3 looking, that's actually a wallet size photo. And so I'm going to take another one of those. I do actually have a 6 photo, and I'm going to nestle that in the pocket next to the tag, and the tag literally gets adhered into place, and I do journal in that journaling spot between the photos on the right hand side of the page there. So that, and as well as I'm going to stitch a thin black line between the yellow and that long column, that first long column that you see there in black thread. And I just like the way that it really offsets that long column of photos on the right hand side nicely. So you can see I just put that yellow bow down. I don't know why I put it there. It's this random thing, and it's out of place. It has nothing else that matches it somewhere on the layout. Not that it has to have a matching thing, but it just doesn't work to me. So that comes off the layout as well. So I'm using a Prima glue pen, I believe it is. I like to use these for vellum. So that's what I'm using to stick my butterflies down with, so that they are actually not stuck all the way, but just the center of their bodies is stuck for some dimension. And I really like them on those circles. They're really subtle in the background. You'll see them better in the close-ups. And so I actually am working with a scrap room kit. This is, I think it might be, I can't remember. It's this month's May kit, and it is part of the flavors of the month, and I have the add-ons. So what I really was looking for here is I have a stamp, and it's actually a Vicky Bouton, and it's all of the circles all the way through the circle. Or dots, I should say. I had wanted just the outline, but I don't have one of those stamps, and so I liked this. I liked the way that it gave you that bigger depth of circle. And so I'm going to put that overlapping that journal spot, overlapping the edge here, and I like it overlapping because it ties things together. And then I did it off the edge here onto a piece of scrap paper, and again, because it gives you, it grounds the layout when it's not finished in my mind. So I have those other, so now I have really 3 visual triangles are moving right around the page. I have the flowers and a 4th, and then I have the circles, and then I have those 3 butterflies, and you can see how that 3rd butterfly is tied into the stamped dot circles there. So I really wanted an edge here, and I really liked just that, all of the colors, because it pulls it together. But I didn't like it over the stamped image. I should have done the stamping afterwards, and I knew there was no way I was going to be able to line that up. So I used that B side, the yellow, and I put it on the right hand side so that there's sort of a beginning and an end. It bookends the layout and makes it an actual square that you are looking into. So the title for this layout becomes Curiosity, based on that saying, curiosity kills the cat. I was going to put curiosity almost killed the cat, but I didn't have room for that. And she is such a curious cat. She really is. In fact, right now as I'm doing this voiceover, she's prowling around the room. And so I liked it against the arc of that scalloped pocket there, and that is also where I will tuck the photo. So that, my friends, is pretty much, that is going to wrap up the layout. I'm just going to move things around a little bit. I will journal in that journal box. There are some close-ups for you coming. Be sure to check out Whimsy Stamps, and if you are participating in the 6x6 paper pad layout, send me a link in the description box down below, in the comments below, to your layout. I'd love to see what it is that you've created with this sketch too. Thanks for stopping in today. I hope you're doing well. Come back again soon. Take care.